It was revealed in the previous chapter about the Academy's long-standing tradition, which was that men would wear women's clothing, and women would wear men's clothing as seen from the streets where the students proudly wore their costumes. In other words, the identity of the male student dressed in an alluring witch costume in the kitchen is Vikir van Baskerville, the main character of this story. PG appears in a panic, reading out loud the next order: 3 plates of Vikir's special fried chicken. The orders kept coming in. Next was 2 plates of sausages, as well as 6 portions of Vikir's special sausages and stir-fried vegetables and 5 portions of Vikir's special rice balls. Despite the large volume of orders, Vikir remained cool in the intensely warm kitchen, turning back to assure the others that he got this. Tudor appears with his face smashed between numerous biceps. He noted that ever since word had gotten out about their kitchen, male customers have been pouring in. Sinclair was in the same situation. Despite her noble appearance, her face was smashed between arms as well, informing the others that they had a huge influx of female guests too, and that they needed to get their orders. Despite all the shouting and noise, Vikir remained focused on cooking out the dishes. He thought about these memories. He couldn't believe that he would get the chance to make the dishes that he ate a lot when he was on the field. When the time of the fall dragged on, it was hard for the people of that time to find proper food. So, in order for the warriors on the front lines to survive, there was a need to make anything taste good. Processing inedible ingredients to make them edible, knowing which parts of a poisonous vegetable needed to be cut off, how to make spoiled meat fresh again. Things like that were common during his time in the war. As a result of all his experiences and experiments, Vikir's teammates suffered the most, not from the demons, but from his cooking. Back in the present, Vikir chopped some potatoes, knowing that they were from the Morgue family, which had developed an awful taste while having a strong earthy smell to them. Their texture was also akin to chewing on sand, simply yuck. But through his past life, Vikir knew that if you cut the potatoes into thin pieces, season them with salt and vinegar, and stir-fry them in a wok on high heat with mandrake leaves and sabak tree seeds, then their earthy smell will completely disappear, bringing out their crispy texture and sweetness. He had turned a food that would send you to hell into a heavenly dish. As he presented the dish to them, both Dolores and the professor were smitten by his looks in the witch costume. Realizing what they were feeling, both of them quickly hid their faces to hide their feelings of seeing Vikir in costume. Bianca rushes into the kitchen, shouting at Vikir about why he was hiding in the kitchen. She scolds the poor fellow, telling our boy that he needed to get out and show his face to the world. But Tudor cuts in, informing Bianca that Vikir was needed more in the kitchen. Without him, the kitchen would be dead. The two started to argue. Tudor supported Vikir staying in the kitchen as so many people had been bewitched by his cooking, while Bianca argued that with his looks in the witch costume, going outside would help them double their profits. As the two argue once more, a familiar face is seen in costume. He smiles upon seeing something, and after realizing that he was right, he places the knife back onto the table, realizing a small amount of Baskerville aura, tracing it towards Vikir's direction, which he instantly felt. Looking past Tudor and Bianca, Vikir spotted where the red aura was leading to. It turns out to belong to Osiris le Baskerville. Seeing him, Vikir questions why he was here. Taking a moment, the two Baskerville members met behind the pub. Osiris stated that it had been a while since he was here in the academy, dressed in the same costume that he had used when he was a student, but argued that he wasn't as pretty as Vikir. Noting that, Vikir was quick to answer why his brother was here in the academy. Hearing that Osiris corrects the young bloodhound, stating that it should be brother dearest. After all, it was the older brother's duty to save his younger brother in times of crisis. In addition to that, Osiris admits that he had missed his younger brother dearly, but the moment he did, something inside of his cape started to move rampantly, like a wild beast. From inside the cape came out a pinky bunny. Pomerian appears once again, hugging Vikir tightly while shouting uncle. She continues to hit Vikir, calling him auntie instead because of why he was dressed and questioning him on why he no come home after so long as she had missed him. Because she had missed her uncle so much, their father had given Osiris some time off to bring Pomerian to the academy. Vikir realized that the patriarch had actually used Osiris as an escort for Pomerian. That's when Osiris reveals the true power holder in their family actually belonged to Pomerian. She holds all authority within the house now. Last month, Pomeranian said she liked the blood bean chocolate, so father destroyed the monster region in the western front line and made a cacao farm there, just to suit her sweet cravings. And then, Pomeranian started protesting that she missed Vikir, whining and crying like a baby. At the end of her hunger strike, which lasted a long time of 2 meals, Hugo actually gave in to the young lady, allowing her to visit him while he was in the academy. Hearing that, Pomerian wore a smug look on her face as she faked everything according to plan. Osiris wanted Vikir to know that after he left, Pomerian had become depressed, and that it has been such a long time since they last saw a smile on their princess's face. What shocked Vikir was the fact that Osiris could smile the way he was smiling right now. He couldn't believe the face he had on. One stage of becoming a swordmaster is regaining one's emotions. Vikir thought to himself that Osiris may not know it himself, but these feelings were really good for him. Soon after talking, Pomerian was fast asleep on Osiris' shoulder, completely knocked out. He tells Vikir to spend time with her while they are at the academy. He also informs him that the trade he had set up was progressing well with their alliance with Mesamadunero's merchants. Vikir had already heard about it. The commissions of the past affairs investigation were created before he had entered the academy. Osiris Le Baskerville was exclusively taking charge of it, and has revealed the wrongdoings between the Baskerville and Mesamadunero families. Because of that, the Baskerville family officially apologized to the Mesamadunero family. Vikir had also heard that in the process, the old Baskerville members who participated in the wicked scheme were beheaded. Due to this event, Cindy also vented some of her anger and joined forces with the Baskerville family. Although only she herself will know if she has truly forgiven the Baskerville family or not. As they headed out, Osiris recalled something, taking out an item from within his cape, telling Vikir that their visit wasn't just for Pomerian. He hands over an envelope sealed with the Baskerville logo and a ring. Taking it, he questions his brother over what it was. Osiris reveals that the ring was found near the place where Set, the demon who stole Set's body, died. He believes that the ring possesses a unique skill, and that their father had told him to give it to Vikir since he contributed the most during the execution of the demon. Looking at the ring in his hand, Vikir wondered if it would allow him to use the barrier that Andromales had used before. The ring was called the Divine Immortal's Ring. It has an ability to call forth a barrier, which was currently turned off, and an inscription written with the words, "God's domain ends here." To add on, Osiris reveals that the letter in Vikir's hand was a letter written by their father with words he wanted to tell his son. Shivers immediately went down Vikir's spine as he felt cold all of a sudden. He couldn't believe that the letter was actually from their father. Osiris assures him that feeling surprised was all right and that he had received a letter as well. Since their chat has come to an end, Osiris bids Vikir farewell, reminding him to take his time while reading the letter. Vikir stood alone, waving his brother goodbye, while passers-by were immediately attracted to his looks as they couldn't stop staring at the witch. Opening the letter, Vikir wondered what it was that Hugo wanted to tell him. Standing in the midst of the festival, Vikir began to read the letter, to Hugo Le Baskerville's son. "Son, by the time you are reading this letter, you must be thinking about becoming a swordmaster like Osiris, my first." Those few sentences were enough to shock Vikir, but he continued to read on. Shocked that Hugo had actually realized that Vikir's level was that of a top-ranking graduator. Hugo letter continues on. "You must be stuck at the 7th Fang right now since you are still a top-ranking graduator. In order to execute the 7th technique perfectly, you need to reach the level of swordmaster, so I have written down the process I went through in my journey to reach that level." Vikir was shocked to learn that Hugo was actually telling him the secrets to becoming a swordmaster. As soon as he finished reading about the process needed to become a swordmaster, Vikir crushes the letter in his hand. His face filled with disgust and anger over the process that Hugo had revealed to him. Back at the pub, Bianca was chilling and wondering if she needed to market herself in order to get more customers, but as she sat there, a familiar red-haired individual walked past, catching her attention instantly. She watches the duo with red hair, noting that even with the mask on their faces, she knew that they were a pair of beautiful girls. The Corpse Queen and Rose have joined the festival. Thanks to the Halloween celebration, the Corpse Queen and Rose were able to blend into the crowd easily. They even had time to stop by a stall, buying so much food that Rose's hands were filled with them, her eyes showing some signs of life as she drools over what they bought. Seeing her this way, happily chewing away at the food, the Corpse Queen rubs Rose's head, asking if the food was yummy. Looking around the place, she slowly realizes that this was the Halloween festival of the school. Thinking back, she wonders what would have happened if that incident didn't happen. She continues to wonder about what would have happened, what would her life have been, if she didn't sign a contract with the demon known as Sire. Then maybe she would have entered the academy alongside her friends, especially a particular guy we all know. Focusing back into reality, the Corpse Queen had a single purpose on why she had risked her life by entering the festival. She needed to confirm something with the Night Hound. Even though he appeared recently as the most evil villain, bringing terror to the knights in the imperial capital, he still knew about the 10 elite corpses. She doesn't know why, but he has become obsessed with the demon she contracted with, Sire, who was currently inside of her. Knowing that, it was certain that he would show himself in a place like this, filled with so many humans. Not only that, it was his swordsmanship that caught her eye the most during their fight. The swordsmanship that she saw at that decisive moment had a bright red aura, similar to the one she saw on the night of the incident. Combining all these facts and her instincts, the Corpse Queen wanted to know if they were right by taking off the mask belonging to the Night Hound. Her chest started to tighten as she thought about it more, causing her knees to buckle as she grasped at her chest, comforting herself. What should she do if he really was the Night Hound? What would he say if he saw the way she was right now? All these questions plagued her mind as she could only think about how much he had changed since they had been apart. She wanted to see him so badly. "Stop thinking," said another voice in her head. A lady appears by the Corpse Queen's side, whispering into her to stop thinking about the things that will give her a headache, and to leave it to her, as she was willing to do the things that needed to be done in her stead. The mysterious lady appears in full view, a woman clad in robe, her face hidden as angel wings sprouted on her back. Seeing this form, the Corpse Queen calls her Sire. As the two of them began their talk, time froze all around them as every human and thing stopped in their tracks, except the both of them. The Corpse Queen was quick to lash out, telling Sire that what she was doing was a violation of their contract. The contract that binds them states that in exchange for her borrowing Sire's power, she would hand over her body to Sire once she dies and to lend her body for an hour of her choosing. Not wanting to continue their conversation, the Corpse Queen turns to leave, telling Sire to stop what she was doing in the area and to get lost. And to stop thinking that she could manipulate her however she wants. Hearing those words left the angel speechless. But a close zoom into her face reveals a completely new demonic look, cracks appearing all over her angelic face with a sinister smile, looking like Valak from The Conjuring. Sire had finally shown her true form, discarding the angelic form, showing off her new demonic look with horns on her forehead and sharp claws. She taunts the Corpse Queen, asking her about what she could do by herself, reminding her that all the people she loves were disappearing, and that there was nothing she could do about it. The demon reminds her of the incident where she stabbed her beloved uncle in the heart with her dagger. And so far, the only thing she has done by herself was destroy those who are around her. On the other hand, thanks to the demon, she was able to find her sister. It was all because of her skill, which lets you see the person she wanted to meet. But all those things didn't matter to the Corpse Queen, because in the end, she couldn't even find the person who means the most to her. The Corpse Queen reveals that the biggest reason she agreed to the contract with Sire was to find his corpse. But in the end, the demon couldn't even find him, even though they had looked everywhere in the forest of the Le Rouge at Le Noir Mountain. With a new sense of rage, the Corpse Queen threatens the demon not to get in her way now, as she finally found a clue that might let her see him again. With those final words, the ability that froze time around them started to break down. Sire looks at her with curiosity, intrigued over the fact that the Corpse Queen's mind was still strong and that it hasn't been completely destroyed yet. But as she was thinking about it, something drew her attention even more. She quickly scans the area, smelling the scent of a demon's blood nearby, locating it to a stall near them. She warns the Corpse Queen to leave the area immediately, as the place reeks of a disgusting aura which was unique to a demon hunter. Hearing those words, the Corpse Queen makes her decision. Instead of running away, she runs towards the area where the smell was coming from, hoping that the person she wants to find was there. Her decision angers Sire as she screams at her about where she was running off to. But she chose to ignore those words, hoping to find the Night Hound. As fireworks exploded in the air, she finally reached Lucion's stall and sees Dolores in the Night Hound costume, making her think that he was actually a woman. Dolores continues to remind a customer that if they couldn't follow the rules, then they will be kicked out, unaware that the Corpse Queen was looking at her. After realizing that the person in front of her was just somebody wearing a costume that resembles the Night Hound, she became annoyed and started casting her black flame magic once again. With a slam of her hand onto the ground, magic circles started to appear everywhere, surrounding the entire festive area. Skeletons started to emerge around everyone as they spotted what was going on. Innocent civilians started to scream and panic, rushing to escape the endless horde of undead emerging from the ground. Tudor and Bianca were together, thinking that she was a villain for summoning undead soldiers, especially since black magic was heavily controlled by the Empire and is considered a taboo. As the undead started to surround everyone, a bright holy light bathed them. Dolores casted her own holy magic against them, informing all members of Lucian to assist her in keeping their customers safe. She tells Anna, who was hiding behind the signboard beside her, to go and get a professor from the academy. Worried about her, she asks Dolores about what she was going to do. Without any hesitation, Dolores clasps her hands together in a prayer stance, reminding the vice president that her specialty was fighting against the undead. Seeing the divine power radiating from the false Night Hound, the Corpse Queen tells Dolores to get lost as she needed to meet the real Night Hound. Hearing that, Dolores wanted to know why she wanted to meet him, Sir Night Hound. Noticing the way she talks about him, the Corpse Queen wanted to know about her relationship with the Night Hound. Dolores happily tells her that they were soulmates. The image of the man she wanted with another woman made her snap inside instantly. In a fit of rage, she commands her undead soldiers to attack Dolores right away, vowing to rip her soul into shreds and to turn her into an undead soldier. Even with the incoming wave of undead, Dolores wasn't going to lose to them. As she casted her divine power against them, another magic was casted alongside hers, easily wrecking the undead. Dolores covers her face but spots a familiar friend. It was Sinclair, who came to back her up with her staff. She warns the first year that the situation was too dangerous, urging her to leave immediately. But Sinclair wasn't going to back down against the fight with the Corpse Queen, because for some unknown reason, her gut was telling her to fight. The one-on-one had turned into a 2-against-1. "What a scene," said the Corpse Queen as she fires off her fire magic at them. Using her divine power, Dolores created a barrier in time, protecting them from the harsh black flames. The Corpse Queen continues to pour out as much firepower as she could, telling the pair that she just wanted to see the Night Hound, warning them that they were going to die if they didn't call him out to come here. Summoning the undead on top of fire magic of this caliber, the two girls wondered how much mana the villain had in her body. But as they held their own against the magic, Dalor's magical barrier started to crack. As soon as it does, someone else arrives, running fast to where they were. The figure appears in an instant, cutting through the corpse queen's flames and reaching her. It turns out to be the Night Hound who grabs the villain, pushing her further away from the others. Seeing the Night Hound in front of her eyes, the corpse queen was instantly happy to see him. But before she could say anything to him, he grabs and smashes her right through an array of buildings, bringing their fight somewhere else.
Thanks for watching the latest part from the voice of Manhwa. Subscribe for more content and don't forget to comment below what you want to see in the future. Like and share for more.